At that point in my life, I had really committed myself to the military and wanted to achieve a high rank, and so I knew I could see what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be militarily and professionally. And I saw my children and my situation as kind of like, wow, I have to choose between my children and my family and changing my route and my family, or trying to or pursuing this. And I wasn't really prepared for that. I really wasn't. And everybody was telling me, you need to find somebody. You need to find somebody. And a lot of people, when I was in Japan, were telling me, you need to find a Japanese woman. You need to find a Japanese woman. And I was like, no, no, no.
Why do you think people were saying Japanese woman?
Well, so many of them had relationships with Japanese women, and there's this perception that Japanese women assume a certain role in a family, to take care of the family and take care of the children, take care of the house, and leave the man to just take care of the paycheck.
Right.
So a lot of people look at it, and until they live in it, a lot of people look at it like, hey, listen, this is a good setup. It's what you need. You need somebody to take care of those children and take care of your house and do the things you're not good at that will allow you to kind of do the things you want to do, which is like focus on making more money, which is something she would appreciate, because in Japanese society and culture, they value a strong breadwinner, and they don't really focus on nitpicking here and there. Like
a balance, kind of.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of balance.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who are married to Japanese women said, this is what you need. You need to do this. You need to find a Japanese woman. But at the time, I was from the South, and I wasn't really prepared to be in a multicultural relationship, to be honest with you. I'd been married to, I only dated white women at that time and American women, and I wasn't really exposed to a different culture. To the point where I eventually would be. So there was this, February 14th was coming up, and the organization I was in, the hospital, in the Air Force, they had a little thing where you could pay $1 and buy a flower. And I was playing softball at the time, carnations. And I reached in my pocket. I wanted to buy this girl, Tracy Oaks, a young girl, single. I wanted to buy her a carnation. And I asked a buddy of mine, I said, hey, give me $1. I don't have $1 on me. He says, why? I said, I want to buy Tracy a carnation. He says, man, don't mess around with her, man. She's not interested in you. You need to date a Japanese girl. And I said, I'm not attracted to Japanese women. He said, you telling me you haven't met one Japanese woman you're attracted to? And I said, well, there's one, but there's no way. She's way out of my league, right? And way out of my league. And I'd flirt with her once in a while, but I knew there was no chance. And he said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $1 if you buy her 2 carnations. I said, deal. So I bought Tracy a carnation, and I bought 2 for Kyoko, and they put them on her desk. And the day that they delivered the carnations, I went to Kyoko's desk. Her desk was piled up full of carnations and roses, dozens of roses on her desk.
Oh, really?
Oh, she was quite the catch. Oh, she was very attractive. And a lot of people liked her a lot. Very attractive. And to my surprise, she come down and she personally thanked me. I want to thank you for bringing me a carnation. It was very nice of you. And if you talk to her now, she will tell you that it was a cursory type of reception. It's kind of like, she did that to everybody, she says. Everybody that bought her flowers, she went and told them the same thing. Me, I thought, wow, she must like me. She made a special trip down here to come see me and thank me. Even out of all those flowers, she made a special trip to come see me. She must really like me.
I guess that's like a cultural difference, I guess.
Yes. And then many times, I mistook the cultural thing for attraction. So your mom would tell you that the reason we're together was a mistake. My misunderstanding. Right?
But it worked out.
It did a lot. I love your mom a lot. It's great.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Where are my grandparents from and their name?
Well, my dad's name obviously was Otis James Sutherland Sr. Senior, and my mom's name was Mary Frances Henry. They were from a mill town. A mill town is somewhere where they mostly focused on making textiles like linens and towels and stuff.
Okay.
The company that employed them at the beginning was Cannon Mills in Concord.
Okay.
And mom was a big basketball player. Dad was big into numbers and studying and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Were they a big family?
Mom was a big family and Dad was a big family. Unfortunately, my mom and dad both passed away so early in my life that I didn't develop real strong bonds with my uncles and aunts.
Mm-hmm.
I knew them, and there's a couple of them I knew and spent time with,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really develop the strong ties that you traditionally see.
Mm-hmm.
And later in my mom and dad's life, when they passed away, I didn't. It was too painful to look out to brothers and sisters, her brothers and sisters and stuff.
Yeah. Do you know if my grandparents had any hardships?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Of course. Can you explain some? Explain one. Maybe like where they got their job, hardships through that.
Well, I'll tell you that the 60s were a different time,
Mhm.
right? When I was born in 66, one hardship, my mother, right? She had some medications that she got for, I don't know, a cold or something. I forget what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And my Aunt Ruby, my father's brother,
Mm-hmm.
my father's brother's wife, right? Ruby, a beautiful name. I love Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
She was pregnant, and she come and she talked to my mom and told her, about, I got this cough or whatever kind of condition it was.
Mm-hmm.
My mom reached into her medicine cabinet, opened a jar, and said, "Here, take some of these." She died.
Really?
Yes. Imagine that guilt,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Someone died, and at the time, that's what they did in the 60s. I mean, nowadays you hear, "Oh, you shared your medications." It's awful. It's
Yeah.
incredible. But the rest of my mom's life, she dealt with that guilt.
Yeah.
And there were times in my mom's life where she had severe depression, and she didn't drink a lot, but she gained a lot of weight. And I think a lot of it had to do with some of the guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Her family was always sick. People in the mill, they worked in the mill, they often were sick. If you look at pictures or videos of people that worked in mills, you see all this lint flying around. There were no masks.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people got cancer and died.
Wow.
So, yeah, and my dad had some trouble too. My grandfather, your great grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of severe back pain and stuff, a lot of issues.
Medical knowledge is, I feel like, because there's internet today, there's more advertisement on, like, don't do this, don't do
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the 60s, was there internet back then?
Mm-mm.
No? So there's so there's no
Well,
medical knowledge.
If there were, only Tony Stark knew about it.
Yeah. Let's see. You already kind of explained why and when did you enter the military. Did you explain why?
So,
No.
so I was very immature
Mhm.
when I was younger, and I could see things happening, and I didn't want them to happen. I knew mom was sick. Mom was in a hospital bed with breast cancer and had a mastectomy, and she was always drugged up. She lived in a hospital bed
Mhm.
in our living room for 2 years, and Dad took care of her, and I didn't like where I saw my life going.
Mhm.
And eventually, but I was kind of resistant. My mom used to tell me, you need to mature, you need to grow up, you need to take responsibility. And I thought it was the typical stuff that parents told teenagers.
Yeah.
No, she knew that she would not be around very long. And so she was trying to tell me, because she was worried about me, you need to grow up. And I saw that as,
Like a typical parent's advice.
yeah, but I resisted that because I wanted to be nurtured.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be loved by my mom. I wanted to be loved by my dad. My dad was kind of hands off. He's always working.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, a few words.
Yeah.
Mom was the lover, right?
Yeah.
And so I could see Mom slipping away, and I resisted that. So any push on her part to mature or be responsible, I withheld from and resisted because I saw that as a move away from where I wanted to be, which was in her loving arms.
Oh.
And eventually she passed, and Dad raised us for